All right, let's jump right in. I want you to try a little thought experiment with me. Now, this is going to get a little weird, I'll admit, but trust me on this. Because what it shows us about reality itself is, well, it's pretty mind-bending. So, right now in your head, I want you to just picture a black poodle. Don't just hear the words, really try to see it. You know, its shape, that curly fur, the whole outline of the dog. You got it? Good. Okay, now let's make this a little stranger. This poodle isn't just standing around somewhere normal. Imagine it's completely surrounded by this thick, swirling red fog. The fog is just clinging to its fur, hiding parts of it, and then revealing them again as it moves. And here's the last detail. Peeking through that red mist, you can see its eyes. And they are not normal eyes. They're glowing with this soft but steady red light. Okay, so now this creature is fully formed in your mind. And this thing, this poodle in the fog, it's been roaming around exactly like this for precisely 389 days, a very, very specific amount of time. So here it is, the big question that this whole explainer is really about. Where is this creature? Is it just a flicker in your brain, a thought, or is it somewhere else? The answer is so much bigger than you might think. See, to find that poodle, we're not going to look outside in the world. We have to look inside, at the very wiring of our own minds. Because a huge philosophical revolution, which started centuries ago, basically says that we don't just see reality, we actively build it. So for the longest time, the old way of thinking was that our mind is basically a passive mirror. You know, it just reflects the world exactly as it is. But then the philosopher Immanuel Kant came along and just completely flipped that on its head. He called it his Copernican revolution in philosophy. He argued that the mind is more like an active projector. The world doesn't just imprint itself on us, our minds impose rules on the world. Reality has to conform to our perception. Probably the best way to get this is to think of your mind as an operating system, like on a computer. I mean, without it, all the raw data hitting your senses would just be incomprehensible chaos, just a meaningless swirl of light and sound. This mental OS is what takes all that chaos and renders it, turning it into the stable, organized world you see around you every single day. So how does it pull this off? Well, this mental operating system isn't empty. It comes with some really powerful built-in software. 3 fundamental tools, you could say, that it uses to construct literally everything you've ever experienced, including our weird red-eyed poodle. And this is a great breakdown of the exact toolkit your mental OS is using. And get this, these tools don't exist out there somewhere. They are the non-negotiable rules of your own mind. So first, you've got space. For you to see the poodle in the fog as one thing separate from another, your mind has to create that separation. Next is time. The only reason that poodle could exist for 389 days is because your mind organizes everything into a sequence of moments. And finally, causality. The very idea of the poodle roaming means your mind is linking all its separate positions together into a single coherent story of movement. And this whole process, using space and time to carve the world up into individual things, actually has a name. It's called the principium individuatis, or the principle of individuality. It's the mechanism in your mind that takes what might be a single unified reality and shatters it into the illusion of separate objects. It's the reason you see a poodle and a fog instead of just one big continuous blob of experience. This principle is literally the source of all separation. Okay, so here's the huge and maybe kind of startling implication of all this. If our own mind is building the world using its own internal toolkit, then the world we experience every day isn't the real world. It's an illusion. A stunningly complex and totally convincing one, but an illusion nonetheless. This whole idea creates this great divide. On one side, you have the phenomenal world. That's the world of appearances, the world we live in. A great way to think of it is as reality's graphical user interface, the GUI. It's the part we can see and click on. But underneath all that is the noumenal world, reality as it truly is, the thing in itself. And that's like reality's source code. We can never, ever see it directly. So the philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer, he took Kant's ideas and ran with them. He gave this whole illusory world a really powerful name, borrowing from Eastern philosophy. He called it the veil of Maya. So that poodle, the fog, the chair you're sitting on, the screen you're looking at, It's all part of this massive, intricate veil that's been woven by your own mind. Schopenhauer called our world a deceptive mirage of multiplicity. What he meant is that our minds, using that principle of individuality, they create a world that looks like it's made of billions and billions of separate things, when underneath it all, it might just be the expression of one single unified reality. Which brings us all the way back to our poodle and the final answer to that first question. Where does this creature exist? Well, by now, I think the answer's pretty clear. So what is the poodle? It's an illusionary mental picture. It's what philosophers call a representation, not the reality itself. It wasn't out there waiting to be found. It was constructed piece by your active mind. And this whole phenomenal world, this veil, it's all hiding a much deeper, unknowable reality, this singular, striving energy that Schopenhauer called the will. And that really leaves us with one last kind of haunting question, doesn't it? We spend our entire lives clicking around in this incredibly detailed user interface that our mind has built for us. But what's the source code? What's running underneath it all? What is the fundamental reality that this grand illusion is trying to show us while also hiding it from us at the same time? That is the ultimate mystery.